try not to take what I'm about to say too personal, right? Or take it personally if you want, right? But just understand it's not too late for you to learn, and it's not too late for you to get the information. That aside, right? It's going to be difficult for a lot of you men to understand where I'm coming from and my perspective on manhood and masculinity, right? And the reason that is because your perspective of what manhood and masculinity is mostly coming from your mother's perception of what manhood and masculinity is, right? It's coming from idealized consumer and not producer's perspective of what masculinity is, right? It's not coming from the lived experience that's shared on through information through the father, right? It's coming from lived experience shared to you through the mother and whatever other mediums of indoctrination you've endured, right? And that's not your fault for a fact, right? Because you don't choose your parental circumstances growing up, right? So a lot of perspectives and ideas and methodology that I have on manhood and masculinity come more from my upbringing, right? And then expanded upon through my own experience and education. So I'm not saying when I'm talking about being a man from a place of misogyny, right? Because I don't deal in misogynist ideals, right? Just as I'm as much unaccepting of misandric ideals about manhood and masculinity, right? I stand for what I stand for, I believe in what I believe, the information I have now, right? And I'm open to new information. But like I said, yeah, it might be a bit of us throwing salt in a wound for some of you, but you're not going to understand where my masculinity is coming from, my manhood ideals perspectives are coming from, because I was raised by a man, right? And I had an older brother and I had older male cousins, right? Older male figures in the streets too, right? So my masculinity perspective is different to yours because you're coming from a perspective of what your mother has told you a man should be, right? Or what the experiences she's had with a man, right? And that is not your fault, right? Because you aren't the picker of your parents' decisions, right? But it is now your job to go and find father figures or find the information or that missing puzzle piece you was lacking growing up, right? It's your duty to do that now. And not to disrespect women misogynistically, but you need to get rid of that effeminate behavior and way of thinking that's been indoctrinated into you as a man, right? I'm not telling you to go and be self-sacrificing macho man BS, right? Because that's not real masculinity, right? Real masculinity is balanced with both masculine and feminine principles, right? It's a mixture of the two, right? Not more one than the other. But my perspective of masculinity, the way I speak, the way I theorize and look at subjects, is coming from a place where I was raised by a man, right? And I'm looking out in the world as a man that's going to dominate and conquer as a man, right? So understand that. You may clash with my ideas and theology and theory because of that, right? Or you may just disagree because you have different information. That's fine, right? But try not to approach the situation from an effeminate point of view, right? Your feelings, how you feel about things, right? How your ideals are, and not the hard facts, right? Not the actual lived experience of a man, right? So understand that.